This is WFYI News Now. It's Friday, December 5th, and I'm Sarah Neal-Estes. Here are today's top stories around central Indiana. A bill that would redraw Indiana's congressional map to benefit Republicans passed through a second reading Thursday. Democrats introduced a slate of amendments, and they were voted down. Representative Mitch Gore introduced a bill to put the proposed map on the ballot and give the decision to voters.
If you're confident in this map, if you believe this is good for Indiana, then you should have no objection to letting the people confirm it.
Bill author Republican Representative Ben Smeltz says he wants to see Congress pass a ban on redistricting, but until that happens, he says Indiana has to draw new maps to counter Democrats in other states.
Contact your congressman or woman and urge them to create a set of rules that establishes a level playing field for every state in the union.
The House's final vote on the bill is expected today, Friday, December 5th. If it passes, it will head to the Senate. A state-mandated task force chaired by Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett has advanced two proposals that could fundamentally change how Indianapolis schools are governed. Eric Weddle reports that both options would significantly reduce the power of the Indianapolis Public School District's elected board.
In a 7-2 vote, the Indianapolis Local Education Alliance moved forward with plans to restructure school oversight. One model creates a power-sharing advisory board between Indianapolis Public Schools, the mayor's office, and charter schools. The other concentrates power in the mayor's hands through an appointed education secretary. IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson voted against the measure, arguing that the current elected board is best positioned to oversee both district and charter students. The task force will hold public meetings before a final vote on December 17th. I'm Eric Weddle.
Attorney General Todd Rokita and Secretary of State Diego Morales say a federal agency review found 21 non-citizens have cast ballots in Indiana elections, along with 165 non-citizens who registered to vote in the state. Zach Castle brings us this story from our reporting partners at the Indiana Capitol Chronicle.
The announcement came as part of a lawsuit settlement where Indiana wanted to force the U.S. Department of Homeland Security to verify the citizenship of more than 585,000 registered Hoosier voters. It was not clear how many of those voter registrations DHS reviewed or when the voting may have occurred. The Secretary of State's office told the Capitol Chronicle the data included elections before 2024. Last year, Indiana had 4.8 million registered voters, and just under 3 million voted in the general election. True voter fraud is rare. The 21 non-citizens who cast ballots represent a fraction of a percent of all Indiana voters who cast ballots in 2024. I'm Zach Castle.
Indiana University and Eli Lilly are working to expand clinical trials. They signed a $40 million deal this week. Aubrey Wright reports.
It's a 5-year agreement that will combine IU's research with Lilly's pharmaceutical and manufacturing expertise. Researchers will focus on Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, cancer, and cell and gene therapy. Lilly CEO David Ricks says this will remove barriers to clinical trials. IU President Pamela Whitten celebrated the agreement at an official signing ceremony in Indianapolis.
By harnessing the power of AI and IU's statewide reach, we can identify candidates for clinical trials far more quickly and ultimately deliver promising treatments to patients faster.
Whitten says this agreement is also a way to prepare talent for drug development and clinical research. I'm Aubrey Wright.
Family Promise of Greater Indianapolis will receive a $1.25 million grant from Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his wife Lauren Sanchez Bezos. The Bezos Day One Family Fund has awarded $850 million across the country to organizations that aim to end homelessness. Family Promise will use its grant to connect families with minor children to home ownership. And this weekend, the undefeated number 2 Indiana University football team will play the undefeated number 1 Ohio State Buckeyes for the 2025 Big Ten Championship. The game is scheduled Saturday at 8 p.m. at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis and will be broadcast on Fox. That's all for today's episode of WFYI News Now. Our podcast is produced by Zach Bundy with support from the news team at WFYI and public media journalists across the state. Kendall Antron produced our music. If you liked today's episode, remember to subscribe and share, and follow WFYI on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to get the latest updates from our newsroom anytime. Thank you for listening. We'll be back Monday, December 8th. Have a great weekend.